Hello, welcome back to my podcast, Tomac Speaks Pod. I don't know why, I'm really bad at intros, we know this. Anyway, this week I'll be talking about all things secondary school. I'm obviously 20 years old now. Secondary school started when I was like 11 till I was 16. It was a big chunk of my life. But as of today, I started to kind of realise I don't really remember that much about it. Even though it was pretty big, I was like in there for 4 years. Like, sound like I'm in jail. You're only in it for a really, really small part of your life, but it is very significant because it's like school, you know. But yeah, I wanted to talk about kind of like my experience and maybe give some advice to people who are going to secondary school, like for the later years, I guess, because I have a brother who's in secondary school right now. Shout out to you, Ethan. I know you wanted to shout out to you. I love you. So yeah, I wanted to maybe try and give some advice. Sorry, I feel like I sound very dull right now. I just had a full day of uni, so. But yeah, let's get into it. So, obviously you go into secondary school when you're 11 years old. It's very freaky because you're leaving a school that you're leaving primary school, where you've been for a big chunk of your life, and that's all you've really known, all the friends you've known, you're like leaving them. Maybe some people are coming across because it's like some people choose the same secondary school as you, but you know, you're losing a bunch of people. I wasn't leaving, I wasn't going to the same secondary school as my like best friend from primary school, so it's very big, like, might have to make new friends. I did have a friend, like a best friend, who didn't go to the same primary school as me, but we would see each other all the time. Not all the time. Every so often, every few weeks. And like she was coming to the same secondary school as me, so that was really helpful. I went from not seeing her like every day to seeing her every day. But like at least I had a friend to like kind of, you know, so it wasn't as scary. And I made friends pretty quickly. I mean, I remember the first few weeks, like just like, picking up friends kind of here and there. And by the first few weeks, I had like a friend group of 10 people, it was crazy. There was a bunch of crazy stuff that happened. But yeah, my older brother had been going to that school, so it was like not too scary because I knew that I had someone there as well, obviously, other than my best friend and stuff, and then I made friends. So yeah, it was good. I'm really bad at making friends now, so I couldn't really give advice on that how to make friends. I guess just the way I did it was like I was friendly to everyone and tried to like when everyone would come up to me and like introduce themselves and they were like very friendly, I would like be friendly back, and I was able to you know, pick up new friends. So that's my advice to you, I guess. Maybe go up to people and in the first few weeks no one really knows each other. Don't let them have their own like little cliques. If you want to be friends with someone, try. Don't just leave it, because everyone will eventually become their own friend group and kind of like leave you in the dust. I had that in college. I won't really talk about that because it's not relevant to secondary school, but you know, if you don't try and make friends first weeks, then you might end up alone, which is sad, but you know, you got this. I don't know you, but you're probably a catch. I don't know. I'm acting like I'm talking to one person. I know there's a bunch of people probably watching, hopefully. I know I'm pretty popular, whatever. Whatever. Anyway, so yeah, it's also different because you're going from having one teacher who teaches you everything, to having multiple different teachers for each subject. So it's very difficult to kind of like get used to that, and also longer days. My days for some reason were like 8 till 4, which was ridiculous. Like I could have died. And I had to come from like I had to get the bus instead of like, you know, so it was was a big change. Had to wake up earlier, and it's just a lot. But yeah, I think my hardest subject was definitely maths. I mean, I know the hardest subject for me was maths. I hated math. I forgot everything as soon as I left that school. I don't remember maths. I saw an equation yesterday, and I was like, I don't know how you do that. I was like algebra. I'm like, I don't know. I literally don't know. I had to get a tutor for that, but I feel like if you pay attention in class, it should be easy. Maybe do extra work if you're struggling, because I with my extra tutoring, I was able to figure out what to do. I know not everyone can afford a tutor, so it's maybe watch some extra videos, do some extra work. It's my advice if you're struggling on any subject, because they're harder than primary school. I mean, I even struggled in primary school with maths and stuff, so it's definitely important to go back over and kind of polish up on the subjects you don't really know. I was really bad at no, I can't remember what I was bad at, but I guess I wasn't that good at algebra. But I really like doing Pythagoras theorem for some reason. I really when I understood it, it was easy, and I was like, oh, this is fun to do, kind of. But when I was pretty we do Pythagoras theorem, and then we move on to something else, and then it would not be fresh in my memory, so I'd be really bad at it. But if you polish up and keep doing it, then it should be alright, I guess. What else? I guess I'll talk about friends and friendships, because I talked about making friends. So I have some stories of my big friend group. It was a bit of a disaster. You know how if you've ever been in secondary school, and even if you're not from England and you've been in school, you know that being 13, 12 to 14, those ages, even just 12 till 16, it's friendships can break really easily, and over the dumbest things. In year 7, I don't even remember what the fight was about, but 2 girls in my group who were really close had an argument, and for 2 weeks they weren't friends, and the rest of the group had to pick sides. I don't remember it too vividly, but it wasn't even the friend group had to pick 2 sides, and they equally divided. It was I went with one girl, and then the rest of the people were hanging around the other girl, which was fine, I guess. It's whatever, it's year 7. And I remember being I don't even remember what this fight was about, or why they're fighting, and then they immediately made up 2 weeks later. I was oh, okay. And then I think this was year 7. We did, in this big friend group, we did Secret Santa, and there was this whole debacle where one person had got presents for someone else. It was kind of used already, and we kind of pointed out to her. We were this is it's kind of gross, and then she kind of threw the presents in the bin. It was a whole thing. And then when we were back in class, the teacher pulled us aside and was did you throw this away? And we're well, no, she threw it away herself. But I feel that whole situation could have been avoided with I feel me personally, I was very kind of rude when I didn't need to be. We could have talked it out normally, but because we were 12 years old, we were this is gross, this is disgusting, blah, blah, blah. So it got heated very quickly and got out of hand. But yeah, it was solved the next day. It was fine. Yeah, I kind of want to just talk about year 7 and then go on, but I can't really. I'm trying to think. Most of my knowledge and memory will come from years 8 onwards, I think, or maybe year 9 onwards. What else is there with year 7? Year 7 is the easiest year for sure. You're going through like getting used to secondary school and doing like just normal things, not really like doing anything too hard. It's harder than like primary school for sure. Like it's natural, like, you know, what's it called? Progression, but yeah, it's definitely not too hard. What could I talk about? I remember in English every year we had to do a speaking assessment, which would literally be, we would, like the first year we had to read I can't remember what it's called, like a monologue from Shakespeare. We had to like read a whole monologue. I remember she gave us just like the sheet, and we just had to read from it, and then like if we could memorize it, then memorize it. But I couldn't, so when it was my turn to go up, I started crying because I was so scared. That was traumatizing for me. It was very, very traumatizing. But then like the week after, I had like been looking at it, I'd been reading the like monologue, and I memorized it, and I was like, oh, teacher, I could do this now. And she was like, no, you can't, you like miss your chance. I was like, oh, that's really, really sad. I don't know why I made such a big like fuss about it. It was like so stupid. One thing that did just come to my mind is very like irrelevant to what we were just talking about, but in my school, I don't know if it was the same for everyone, but we had times that was like allocated for reading. So we had to like read every day after lunch for like 20 minutes. It was so stupid. But the first week, something really embarrassing happened to me. So like if you ever go through an embarrassing like moment, just no one's going to remember it. I remember it now because I remember everything that happens to me. If it's embarrassing, it just lives in my memory. But we were in like our tutors for reading, and the room was silent, and I needed to sneeze. And so it just came out. Like I had to sneeze, I sneezed. And at the same time, I farted. So everyone heard it, and it was traumatizing. And then like, so obviously the people who were immature, was like 12-year-olds, they were laughing. I don't know if they knew it was me, but the guy next to me, he's my enemy. I hate him. If he ever watches this, I hope he knows. I hate him for a lot of different reasons that I can't really say, but he was like going like this, like, oh. It didn't smell at all. Like, I could tell you right now, it didn't smell, but he was like overreacting. And I was like, now they know it's me. But I don't think anyone really said anything. The teacher was like, don't do that, please. Again, that's gross. I'm like, it was an accident. I'm sorry. But yeah, if you ever think about that when you have something embarrassing happen to you. Was it as embarrassing as that? Because I don't think it was. There's also kind of like from primary school, you go from doing like plays all the time. I don't know if it was just my like secondary school, but we didn't do any plays or any musicals or anything. But in primary school, we did one every year, but in secondary school, you didn't do that. And there's something else I was going to say about primary school. I don't know. It's just I liked primary school. I really, really liked primary school. Maybe I should have talked about primary school. I don't really remember it though, so that would have been bad. But yeah, I guess I'll move on to year 8 now that I can. What about year 8? Year 8, a lot of things like developmentally happened to me. Like, it's gonna sound weird to say, but you know, it's a thing that happens to every person who is a reproductive system or female reproductive system. But I got my period that year. I'm sure a lot of people get it in year 8 as well. It's a common thing, but yeah, I'm not really going to talk about too much about that, but it was a very like shocking time. Still is every time it happens, shocking, but I can't even talk about it on the podcast. remove the stigma. That's what we have to do. We have to remove the stigma. I guess I don't know if I could say anything, like any advice about that. It's normal. We don't need to be like, oh, that's gross. Like, it's normal. It happens. We shouldn't be like embarrassed about it. Yeah, that's all I have to say. I got my first boyfriend, which is very ironic considering I don't like boys. I guess I'll talk about that now because I've remembered it. But at the time, I do remember, like, in my brain, I had come out as bisexual by that time. Or maybe it was year 9. I was 14, I think, when I came out. So maybe I was 13 at this time. But I was like, I'm bisexual, I think. So I like boys and I like girls. And I had friends who were kind of like, they had crushes and they were like pursuing other boys, and I was like, oh, do I need to do that? I remember it being like a whole, like, do I, like, to be cool, to be like normal, do I need to be like, oh, I like this boy? So I kind of like sort of kind of chose one at random that you know, no one else really talked about liking, I feel. And I was kind of like, okay, I like him. And I told all my friends, I was like, yeah, I like this boy. And they were like, oh, really? I remember doing this weird thing. I like wrote his name in my pencil case because everyone else was doing it. Like, my friend had done it to her crush. I was like, okay, I guess I'll do that. But I didn't really have too much of a crush on him. No offense to him, but didn't really like him that way. But the way we got together, it was like a classic. My friend asked him out for me. I'm not 100% sure if that's what I wanted, because I was like, I said that I liked him, but I was like, I don't know if I want to go out with him. I was just like, it's whatever. But then she asked him out and he said yes. So, and it was while we were leaving. She was like pressuring him, like, do you want to go out with her? Do you want to go out with her? And then he was like, yeah. I was like, oh, okay. So we got each other's numbers and then went our separate ways and barely texted. That whole like month of my life was weird because everyone sort of paid more attention to me now that I had a boyfriend. It was like hot gossip. People would like message me and like talk to me in class and be like, oh, you have to hug your boyfriend now. You have to hug him. It's like an important thing you have to do. It was a big thing. I don't know why it was such a big thing, but it was like everyone was getting boyfriends at that time and everyone was like being pressured to hug them, and some people did. They were like, oh, I'm hugging you. It was like a big weird thing, but I was like, I don't know. I never hugged him. I never kissed him either, so but yeah, it was so weird. Like I said, it was a month, so he broke up with me over text. I remember that day, and kind of like throughout my whole like our whole relationship, one of his friends kept saying that he was like only going out with me because he was desperate, and he was saying, like, no offense to you, but he's only going out with you because he's desperate and he wants a girlfriend. He wanted to go out with this other girl, but you were the only one. I was like, how is that not offensive to me? And he was like trying to justify it every single time, and I was like, what? That's horrible. Why would you say that to me? That's whatever. She was hot. That girl that he wanted to go out with was hot, so I don't blame him. She was rude though. I don't like her. Anyway, not the point. So he was like, he would say that, and I remember the day he broke up with me, his friend said that to me. I was like, oh god, maybe I should just break up with him. I'm like, I'm not happy. I'm just we're not really in a relationship, but it's just like, oh, we said we're boyfriend and girlfriend, but it doesn't really feel like a relationship. So I kind of was like, oh, maybe I should break up with him. And then by the time I got on the bus, I was like, oh no, I won't, because I could just see what happens, see where it goes. And then on the bus, he texted me saying we need to break up. And I'm not like, what's the word? I was going to say, I've like lost my train of thought. I'm embarrassed to say that I did cry. I don't know why. I wasn't sad too much, but I did cry. And maybe, I think I did it for attention, if I'm honest with you. I did some stuff for attention. And I remember, like, thinking, like, this will get me attention. But I started crying, and then none of my friends realised until, like, about, like, a couple minutes after. And then they were, like, giving me attention. I was like, oh, cool. Whatever. I was a messy teenager. But yeah, we broke up, and then that was that. I didn't really have anyone, like, any more crushes after that. I remember there was this boy who had a crush on me. There was a couple of boys who had a crush on me. I guess I'll talk about crushes. But for advice on boyfriends, it's like, don't think it's normal to have a boyfriend in, like, secondary school. You don't have to have that whole, like, experience. I'm 20 and I've only ever been out with one person. I've never kissed anyone, so it's not like I have to do this now. I have to have the experience. Like, it shouldn't be something that we, like, force on people and, like, make them feel weird that they haven't experienced that when they're, like, older. Like, who cares? You do things at your own pace, you know. You don't have to worry about anyone else. Most of my friend group also is in the same boat as me. We don't really do relationships. We want them, but, like, it's not easy. It doesn't come easy, so we just, like, go with the flow, whatever. But yeah, don't think that you have to have a boyfriend or a girlfriend. You just don't. It's not a requirement. Doesn't matter. Like, you want to like at your own pace. And yeah, hope that's good advice to you. But yeah, I remember these, like, people who had a crush on me was, like, in year 8. There was a girl who had a crush on me, though. I'll talk about that in a minute, but we had this weird week where I don't even know what it was called. We, like, had to get into groups in this, like, in our year and kind of, like, decide on selling some stuff. And we had to, like, make what we were selling and then sell it off. It was a weird week. I don't know why they decided to do this, but I remember being in a group and then, like, being changed last minute. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Week was weird. We didn't do, like, normal lessons or anything. I remember sitting in the hall on a table with my original group, and my friend comes up from behind me and says, this guy wanted to ask you out, what'd you say? And I said, ew, no, because he's gross, and he's been mean to me before, like, in the past. So I just, like, you know, don't want to go out with someone like that. Why would you want to go out with someone like that? I think this was after my first boyfriend as well, so I was kind of like, I don't really want to be in a relationship. So she told him that, and the rest of the day, he decided it would be a good idea to just be mean to me because I rejected him. No, don't take that stuff, guys. That's, like, manipulation at its finest. It was gross. It wasn't like he was, like, being mean to me so that I would go out with him. It was like he was just being mean to me because he was, like, a sore loser kind of thing. But I got him back. This is one of my proudest moments. So we were in the classroom at the end of that day. It was, like, the Tuesday of that week, so it was very early on in the week. And he's being mean to me, and he's like, oh, no one likes you. And I was like, you ready for this? I was like, you did. And it shut him up. He shut up, and he left me alone the whole week. I was like, thank God. Don't need that negativity right now. Like, why? Yeah, very, very stupid. And then the other one who had a crush on me kind of, like, came out of nowhere. And it was while I was dating my boyfriend, because he was like, he would text me on Instagram, be like, have you and your boyfriend, like, hugged yet? I'm like, no. And then he was like, well, you should. I'm like, okay. I think they were friends as well, so it was very weird. I was like, why are you texting me like this? Like, what? And then when me and my boyfriend broke up, he would, like, text me being like, would you go out with me? He asked me out, and I was like, I don't really know if I want a relationship right now. Just go out of one, you know. Not that I don't like you or anything, but I didn't like him. And then he was like, okay. And then he asked me out again, and I said, I'm not sure. And he said, please think with your beautiful brain. I remember those messages. I think I still have them somewhere. I was like, what? What do you mean? But yeah, that never panned out to anything. I didn't really like him that way. It's always okay to say no. Obviously, like, you shouldn't be forced into anything. Don't say no. Like, say no if you don't want to be in a relationship. That's the lesson. And then the final one was actually a friend of mine had a crush on me, and this was a very confusing moment because, like, we're with girls. I do like girls. I don't know if she actually liked girls. I don't know if she actually liked me that way, but I remember the first time she like told me was year 8. She was like, "Oh yeah, I think I'm like bisexual." I was like, "Oh, okay." We're like having a day off, so she was texting me, "I think I'm bisexual and I have a crush on someone." I was like, "Oh, who?" And she said it was me, and I was like, "Oh." And I had a feeling because she was texting me so much, like privately, that she was gonna like say that she liked me. So yeah, and it wasn't like I didn't like her back. She's like pretty, and like we were a good friend. We get along. Like, she was a nice person, but I just, at the time, I was like, in my head, if you get together with someone and it doesn't pan out, then you can't be friends with them anymore. And it's like, I didn't want to lose that like kind of friendship. So it was very like difficult to kind of navigate that. That's why I was never really friends with any boys, because I was like, oh, is that like, I don't know, it was weird. Like, you can't be friends with boys because they're only there for being boyfriends. And now I'm gay, so yeah. But what else happened in year 8, like developmentally? It was definitely a big year. My friend group of 10 people from the previous year kind of reached its limit and kind of like split apart. Because like you can't really survive school going through secondary school with that big a friend group, if I'm honest with you. I feel like something's always gonna happen. Basically what happened was me and then like my childhood best friend who I talked about, and then 2 of the girls who I was kind of close with, the one who had a crush on me, and then this other girl, who we had kind of like had a friend group before, like a little 4, because I had me and my like childhood best friend, and then the other 2 girls had met, and then I kind of met one of the other girls and was like, oh, come join us, and we would like catch ladybugs in year 7, and then the other girl, like they brought each other, so now like we were 4, and then I know, because I'm not using names, it's very difficult to like describe who these people are, but this is another person I'm talking about. We'll call it A. I met A on open day, and I also met this girl T on open day, and we were kind of like, oh, we'll be friends, we'll be in a friend group, and we kind of were. There was this other girl, she's relevant, she didn't like end up joining our friend group, but yeah, we had A and T, who I met on that open day, and then we kind of like forged a friend group, but like they came afterwards. Because I met them on open day, I was able to bring them in, and then they brought their friends H and G, who I'm still friends with, T, H and G now, which is good. You know who you are. Hey H. I mean, I could say your names: Trev, Gerald, and Harold. That's not their real names, but we'll get to that later, because it's a whole nother thing. But I'm still friends with them anyway. Yeah, Trev, Gerald, Harold, my childhood best friend, the one who had a crush on me, Kay, who was friends with the girl who had a crush on me. They kind of like met together and like brought the other over. Another K, K-A, and J, I guess I'll say. I think that's the end. That's the other people. There was like loads of people. It's hard to keep track, but yeah. But yeah, we started off with the 4, so childhood best friend, I'm gonna call it F, K, got a crush on me, H, a different H, and then me, and then we kind of like, because I met A and T, we kind of like made a friend group of 10. Anyway, one day there's this like thing that like a common activity would be just to go to the local town and hang out, go around all the shops, go shopping for a bit, and then like maybe go to a cafe. That's what we like to do in year 8, as it was like a common thing. It would just be called going to like town. And I remember us four, and then T decided to go, just us. And we didn't really think to invite the other people, just because it wasn't really, in my mind, it was like, it's only like 5 of us. It's not like we're leaving one person out. We're like just going whatever. But that was a mistake, because A and K, the other K, kind of got mad at us for that, and sent us a bunch of messages saying like how we're rude, and because yeah, just like saying that they don't want to be friends with us anymore, and that kind of like led to us not being friends anymore. And we kind of like split, so we became a 4. T like kind of stayed with them, and that was how it was for year 8. And that kind of like having that defined friendship was kind of like big for me. And yeah, all I gotta say is I think it was a stupid fight. Like I said before, like secondary school, like because you're so young, it's like fights happen all the time. I remember at the time I was just like, oh, I want to like learn to hold grudges against people. I don't know why, but I would always like let people, I guess, be mean to me, and then like be like, oh, I'm not gonna be your friend anymore, and then I'd like just forget about it and be like, oh yeah, I want to be your friend. So I kind of wanted to not take things from people anymore, and that was kind of like where it led. I think A tried to apologize multiple times, and I was just like, no, not having it. I'm fine with my friend group now. I don't need you anymore. But I guess my advice, don't do that. You don't need to do that. Like, if you don't want to be friends with someone, that's fine. You don't have to be friends with someone, but don't like hold silly things against people. It's not worth it, and it can make you so much happier if you just like let things go from time to time. But yeah, we were very upset that they had kind of said that they don't want to be friends with us anymore, so we like took that to heart and kept it for the whole time. But yeah, year 8, crazy year. Lessons got a bit harder, and like friendships kind of like fell apart, but other than that, it was an alright year. It was like almost my favourite, because I was going through so many like experiences and stuff. But yeah, I guess next I'll talk about year 9. I don't know why I don't remember year 9 too much, but one of my friends who I'm friends with now joined our school that year. I mean, I was on stream with him the other day. He might like appear on my channel. His name's Charlie. They did actually in the Uno video. They were in the Uno video, so I'm still friends with some people there. But yeah, his name's Charlie. That's the year I met him. We're in Spanish class, and we're like the series, like a series of unfortunate events books, and then like TV show with Neil Patrick Harris on Netflix. So we kind of like bonded over that, but we weren't really like that close that year. Anyway, sorry, I might need to take my phone for like knowing about it. Oh, there's a lot of messages from my friends. I kind of like asked them what I should talk about, because they know more than me. Sorry, I need to carry on talking. It's a podcast. Oh, well, apparently a lot of drama happened in that year. I don't know why I don't remember it. I don't know why. Yeah. So year 9, I remember people say that it was year 10 that we did this. I remember it being year 9, and I'm going to stick to it being year 9. In year 8, I've literally got screenshots of me, and the times being in year 8, us picking our GCSEs, and then we started doing them in year 9. I definitely remember that happening. So it was definitely a harder year, because we started doing our individual GCSEs, kind of, maybe it was year 10, I don't know. But it was like around that time. I chose to do computer science and drama, because those are my school didn't really offer that much, and then I did geography instead of history. So I guess I'll talk about them like a bit later because that's GCSEs. But yeah, I actually do not remember year 9. I'm trying to rack my brain. It was just a nothing year, I guess. Nothing big happened to me. That's so annoying. I feel like year 9 was like a defining year, but it wasn't. It obviously not because I can't remember it. I should have prepared more. Whatever. Maybe if I remember anything, I'll say. But I'll move on to the next year. I had another friend come, like, join our school. She's like knew Charlie, so I kind of like know her from that. But like, I was still like friends with my like my friend group that year. That was when GCSEs started to really like ramp up. What could I say about GCSEs? I mean, I wasn't doing like any of the harder, like I was always on doing the foundation of everything. Oh, okay, so year 9, Spanish. Everyone had to do Spanish in year 9. And not everyone was good at it. I wasn't that good at it. I really hated Spanish. We had a teacher, don't remember her name, but we used to call her Roz, like the woman from, not the woman, the slug thing from Monsters Inc. I was about to do an impression, but that would be embarrassing. But yeah, I need a drink. Yeah, we, everyone had to do, sorry. I'm leaving this in. This is raw footage you're like seeing because I'm not editing this too much. Okay. Yeah. Everyone had to do Spanish, and I remember at the end of year, at the end of every year we had to do tests that would get us ready to do GCSEs. So we'd do mock tests every year. And during our like year 9 mocks, they kind of were testing us in for like Spanish to see who would continue doing Spanish and who would not. I don't know why they didn't force everyone to do Spanish, but they didn't. And the threshold was like you have to get 24 marks on both papers. I think we did like a listening and a writing paper. And then yeah, so we were like you have to get 24, and I got 12 on one paper and 12 on the other. So that meant I had to go on and do Spanish for GCSEs, which sucked. Because so if you didn't get like the 24, you got to do media, which everyone was like, oh, this is so much fun. This is way better than doing Spanish. Haha, stupid Spanish people. I was like, oh, I don't want to do Spanish. I meant we were like smarter than them, but still, I don't want to do Spanish. A lot of funny things happened in Spanish, but I felt bad for the teacher. They would always like bully her. There was like this group of boys who would always like clash with her and be rude to her, and it's so dumb. Yeah, I can't remember. My friends like talked about Spanish lessons. I can't really remember them. I remember like funny stuff would happen in year 9 Spanish lessons, like. But I just don't remember what. I do remember, like, fully, like, recall, having to watch this weird Spanish film, with this really gross moment. I can't really describe it, but it was gross. It was really gross. I was like, why are we watching this? What does it prove? I don't know. That's all I have to say about that. GCSE geography, I kind of enjoyed it. It was alright. I did alright in it. It was like, yeah, I don't know what to say about it. Drama, I chose drama because I do like acting. If you know me, I like musicals and just like, yeah, stuff like that. So I wanted to do drama because I wanted to like try out acting. I feel like I'm alright at acting, but I just have horrible stage fright, so I just won't do it. Like recently, I almost had the opportunity to like be in my uni's musical. My friend is doing it, so he like was like, "You should do it too." I was like, "Okay, maybe," and I just didn't audition because I was too scared, which is sad, but you know, I can't sing. But yeah, I definitely I really, really enjoyed drama lessons. I looked forward to doing. I like doing drama. We did it just normally in like year 7, 8, and 9. So I definitely enjoyed doing that. We would play games. If you've been in secondary school drama, you know, you play games at the beginning and then you like go into doing like an acting exercise. So it's always like fun and not really like that hard. And yeah, for GCSEs it was just meh. But still fun. Yeah. And then computer science, I had to choose it because it was like that or art, and my mum was like, "Oh, you're not good at art, so you shouldn't do art." I was like, "Okay." But I did have a lot of fun in computer science lessons with my friend Kay and then my friend Charlie. I don't like Kay anymore, but we had fun at the time. We like would just mess about on the computers, and we would like push. I remember they would like Kay would push Charlie off his chair all the time. It's kind of funny. And yeah, it's pretty much. I didn't really understand the work, if I'm honest with you. I still don't. And like if you put it in front of me, I was like, what would we doing? Why is that relevant? I don't know. I literally just chose it because it was the only option. But yeah. And then obviously there's the normal GCSEs you have to do. Everyone has to do English, science, and maths. With science was like there was like a GCSE option to do like a higher version of science, but I didn't choose that one, so I was in the like normal science, combined science trilogy it was called. Those lessons were crazy. My friend reminded me, apparently in year 9 we like missed out on doing chemistry because we were like focused on doing like physics and biology, and we were supposed to be doing chemistry, but we just didn't, and I don't know why. Our biology teacher, I want to say in year like 10 and 11, he was bad. Like, just, he wouldn't let us yawn. If we yawned, we got like a warning. There was this girl who would always disrupt the class, and he would always send people off, like me, to go to the office to like get people to deal with her. I was like, why are you like taking time, wasting my time as well? Just like, it's just, it was a mess, and I just felt like I didn't really learn anything. Yeah. Like I said, maths, I was really bad at maths throughout the whole thing. I had to get a tutor. It was not good. The maths teachers that I had just weren't helpful. I guess maybe the year 11 one kind of did help a lot in a lot of ways, but like the others just didn't really help the way they were teaching me. And because we had so many, like they would change every year, whereas with like maths, they kind of stayed the same, so it's pretty simple. English teachers, I kind of had the same ones for most of the time as well, so it was like whatever, pretty normal. Don't know if I could. My advice: please don't like, if you're a troublemaker, just don't disrupt the class for everybody else. That's my advice. And if you're not a troublemaker, you have to listen to that. Like just ignore them. Don't give them attention, because they will like ruin your whole experience. That's what they want. They want attention. They want people to like react to them. So I don't know why I'm talking about this. It's a bad segue, but my advice for like troublemakers in class, because I like had some people who would like ruin that experience for me because they would be like being more focused on the class clown. Just ignore them. I remember in year 9 we had this guy. He bullied me. I could talk about bullying actually. I'll talk about bullying in a minute. There was a guy who had bullied me before, but he was he was not very much a problem the whole time for everybody. Even teachers, he would like just disrupt the class, shout. He had broken this like one of the rooms, like one of the doors in the school, at one point. So he was in trouble with the teacher, and I remember being in science, and she was our like main teacher, and he was like yelling at her, and they were like having an argument mid-lesson. I was like, this is ridiculous. And then he got kicked out, and then that's when he left the school for good, which was awesome. But yeah, don't give in to class clowns. I forgot about bullying. I forgot I was bullied, but yeah, I was bullied. I guess we'll talk about that because people might want advice on that. So I was bullied in year 7 to kind of like to year 8 maybe, and then it kind of like stopped and it was all okay. By these boys, the boy that I just mentioned, I'm gonna call him M. He would I remember one time we were on the bus, so I had to go on the same bus as him, and there was like this weird hierarchy with like the seats. So the cool seats were like right at the front, in the middle, and then at the back. And like there were groups of people who would like want to sit in those places, and if they didn't get the seats, then they'd like move you out of the seats. Like there's this time in the back when the older years would like want to sit there, and me and my friends kind of were like, well, no, they're not here, let's grab the back, and they can't move us. And they like tried to sit on us, so we had to move. I was like, why does it matter? You're horrible, whatever. But yeah, I sat in the middle seat of the bus because I was like, why does it matter? Why, like, I got here first. I don't go moving people out of seats. Why should they get to? So I kind of like sat in the middle seat. My friend who got on the bus with me sat away from me for some reason. They like didn't have my back. They didn't sit near me. If they had sat near me, this wouldn't have happened. But and then the boys who were like bullying me, M and W is what I'm gonna call them. They got onto the bus and they saw that I was sitting there, and they kind of like told me to move. And when I wouldn't, they threw my bag like up the bus, and I was so upset. I like cried my whole way home, like the whole journey home, and then like when I got off the bus with my brother, I was like crying, walking. It was not good. And then I remember, I think it was year 8 maths. The same guy M would like just be mean to me. He would like say horrible things to me in the lesson, and I remember crying in that lesson because he was being so rude to me. So yeah. After he left, I think after that like experience in the maths, he kind of like stopped. But he would like be mean to me, like casually all the time. I guess my advice is don't let it get you down. I know loads of people will probably be telling you that, but like it's their problem, it's not yours. Like tell a teacher, make sure they know. And if they don't do anything about it, like make sure your parents know. Make sure your people know. So they can help you. Because, you know, it's unacceptable and people shouldn't be hurting your feelings. So yeah, don't let it get to your head. That's what I'm going to say about bullying. Don't bully people. God. That's what I have to say about year 10. Again, I don't remember it. Although, okay. Like I said earlier, every year we had to do, in English, we had to do, like, speaking. They called speaking mocks every year, but then in year 10 we had to do the real thing, where we had to make our own speech up about a topic, and then we had to, like, do it in front of the whole class, perform it in front of the whole class. So, I did my speech on LGBTQ violence, because at the time I came out as bisexual, but I was like, that's important to me. It was something that I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about the problems with that and how we should stop it. So I did kind of like a speech on that. I got merit. If I had any advice for like the speaking mocks, I'd be like, just come prepared, try and like learn your cue cards, because you like get cue cards. I don't know if they have to even do them anymore, but if it's in the like syllabus, but yeah, come prepared, read like you know, try and memorize as much as you can. It doesn't matter if you can't. Try and be confident in speaking out, but like obviously everyone's in the same boat, they're all scared. I still hate public speaking. I have to do it every week, almost. It's horrible, I hate it. But yeah, just don't, I have to do it next week. Don't like, you know, sweat, just like breathe, be calm. No need to get all riled up and upset like I did. Just breathe. Yeah, I guess go on to the final year 11. Crazy year of my life. Another big friendship group fell apart. It was very, very sad time, if I'm honest with you. I look back and it's sad, but also like I wouldn't have the good friends I do have now if it didn't happen. So I'm also kind of glad. I don't know how to really describe it, but yeah. So I can't really go into too much detail. I feel like it's not really my story to tell, but two of my friends fell out over a boy is all I can really say. It was much deeper than that, much more like crazy than I can actually say, but yeah, they stopped being friends over a boy, and it was kind of like we had to choose between them, and I liked them both at the time, so I was like, I don't really know what to do. I don't really know who to go with. Went with one of them. I didn't really agree. I wasn't really on each side. I was just going with someone. And yeah. It was a kind of hard time. My friends who I'd had from year 7, obviously the big friend group, I kind of started hanging out with them. So I started hanging out with Harold, Gerald, Trev, obviously Charlie, and then this new friend that I mentioned who came in year 10, Nige. I kind of they were a friend group. They had made a friend group in year 10, and me and Kay kind of joined in with them. And it was a weird time because there was us obviously, and then this girl S, I'm gonna call her S. She came along for a bit because she was friends with Kay and she wanted to be friends with us, but we didn't really like her that much because she was kind of rude. And then she kind of went away, and there was this girl, I don't know what to call her now. She's another A, a different A, came along and was trying to be friends with us. We didn't really like her that much, and then she left after we left the school. We kind of stopped talking to her, and then obviously my friend group had 4 people. 2 went one way, 2 went the other. The 2 who went the other kind of was friends with the girl who I'd met on open day. I was talking about A, the other A. She was in her own little friend group with some other people. They kind of were in a friend group when we left school. And then yeah, I kind of stayed friends with Harold, Gerald, Trev, Charlie and Nige for that whole time. Now, till now, I'm still friends with them. But what's my whole point with this? I guess I'll just start talking about the names, because you might be like, are you really friends with someone called Gerald? No, that's not her real name, but we kind of, in year 10 English, we came up with these names because it was very funny. We originally were okay, let's come up with some old women names to come for each other. So I was Edith or something, and Gerald was Gertrude or something, and it was very funny at the time. And then one day we were oh, let's be odd men instead. So I'm an Edmund, Gerald's Gerald, Harold's Harold, so on, so forth. And that stuck. Even it's been over 4 years since that's weird to say, but yeah, it's been over 4 years since that. 5 years maybe since we had those names. So we've been calling each other that stuff for 5 years. And I love it. I love them. They're very. Shout out to you guys. You know who you are. I just said your names on the video. I don't know if you watch them, but I love you. You mean the world to me. Yeah. Obviously, for actual doing GCSEs, I didn't do them, because COVID. So I don't have any advice on how to do exams. With mocks, I never really practiced at all. I would just wing it. Really, I would read a book maybe, but I would never really not practice. What do you call it? revised. That's, I guess, my advice. Please revise. Do like your revision. It's important. I don't have to do any, like, I've kind of like cruised through life, kind of doing like averagely everything and not really like giving it my all. But if you can give it your all, do it. Obviously, do that. Revise and like do the best you can. It's all you can do. But yeah, I didn't get to do my GCSEs. I didn't get to do my GCSEs. I didn't get a prom, which is very, very sad to think about. I like had brought a dress. Oh no, my mum and my nan had bought a dress for me. It was a very, very pretty dress. I really liked it. I was very excited to wear it to prom. I was on the prom planning committee. We were like planning to do a Paris theme. So because I was on the prom planning committee, we were like coming up with the theme ideas, and we were like, what do we want to do? What do we want to do? And I kind of like came up with a list, or like I googled like prom themes, and Paris came up, and I was like, oh, why don't we do Paris? And everyone liked it, so I was like, okay, cool. I kind of like did the theme. That would be cool for everyone to know. And then a few years later, my friend Gerald, she was like, who even picked the Paris theme? It's very bad. I was like, oh, that was me. Oh, very funny moment. I was like, you know. But yeah, it was a very crazy year. Obviously, 2020 loads of people didn't get to do their GCSEs. I think the years after also didn't get to do their GCSEs, so kind of crazy. But yeah, I forgot to talk about it, but like because of my friend group kind of like came together in year 11, we would play Uno together, and that's kind of where it started. I think it started in year 11. I would bring in Uno because I had brought Uno, the game, and we would all play it around the table at break and lunch, and that was all we would do. We'd also play some like verbal games, but other than that, like it was just doing that, and I had a blast doing all those, having like playing Uno all those lunch times. It's like fond memories. What I remember most, honestly, like I'm trying to think of stories, I just don't remember anything, but I remember the Uno. There was a moment where we're like going around the circle doing like playing Uno, and I don't know, I can't remember where it came from, but like someone placed a 7, and we kind of like were saying 7, and we were like 7, and it became a thing because of Monica from Friends. She was like 7. I don't know, something like, I think it was something to do with that. I just put 8 fingers, I went 7. But yeah, so it's very fun memories. Still play Uno with my friends today when we go out and do grown-up things, which is funny. That sounds wrong. I mean, like grown-up things as in like going out drinking and clubbing. We bring Uno everywhere. Keep friendships close with like people. People are like, oh, uni is where you'll make your best like friends, and you'll be friends with them to the end. And that may be true for some people, but for me, it was secondary school. I don't really have any friends in uni. I just have my friends from secondary school, and I love them very dearly. So try and keep your friends close. Don't let like stupid fights get in the way of your friendship, because it's not worth it. Yeah, I think that's it for talking about secondary school. I've like covered crushes, and I've covered like bullying and stuff like GCSEs. I'm not one for wisdom. I have experience with these things, and like if someone were to come up to me and ask all these questions, I would be able to tell them, like give them advice on what I would have done, but it's hard because I didn't really come prepared. I was just like, oh, I'll talk about my experiences, and I didn't really like create a list like I was supposed to. But yeah, that's the end. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, took away some of my advice, I guess. I tried to make it as good as possible. If you're in secondary school or going into secondary school, good luck. And yeah, I'll see you next week. Hopefully, I don't really have a topic prepared, so I can't really like tell you in advance, but I'll come up with one, and I'll spread my vast knowledge of it. I'm really hoping I don't forget anything for this secondary school one. Maybe I'll speak about it again, but yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next week.